Hello, everyone. I'm Helen, and I'm so glad you're here with me today at Silver Living Hub, a little corner where I hope we can find some light together in these later years. I'm sitting in my small wooden house in a coastal town in Oregon, listening to the rain patter on the porch. I'm 76 years old now, and I want to share a story with you. Not about grand adventures or big wins, but about quiet, rainy days that changed how I live. I'm no expert storyteller, but I'd love for you to sit with me, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and walk through this journey together. Today, I'm going to tell you about 5 specific things I started doing, 5 habits I wish I'd picked up sooner to live healthier and happier as I've grown older. I'll lay them out clearly because I don't just want you to hear them. I want you to feel why they matter, maybe even try them yourself. I grew up right here in this town, where the rain's a constant companion. My parents ran a little general store, and I'd spend my days after school running barefoot on the beach once the chores were done. I became an elementary school teacher. For 35 years, I taught kids how to read, write, and dream big. I loved it, loved seeing their eyes light up with every new discovery. My husband, Frank, was a carpenter. He made sturdy oak tables, like the one I'm sitting at now. We had a simple, full life together until 8 years ago when Frank passed away from a sudden heart attack. It was the rainiest day I'd ever seen, not just outside, but inside my heart. After he was gone, I wasn't the same Helen anymore. I pulled back into this house, surrounded by memories. His chair where he'd read the paper, the table he built for my 50th birthday. I started living like I was just waiting for my time to run out too. But then 3 years ago, on a rainy afternoon, I sat by the window watching the drops slide down the glass, and I asked myself, how long do I want to live like this? Can I do something to feel alive again? I didn't have all the answers, but I decided to start one small step at a time, and those rainy days led me to 5 habits that I want you to hold on to. Stop eating late at night, walk 15 minutes every day, eat wholesome food, connect with friends, and get regular health checkups. These aren't vague ideas, they're real simple things I've done, and I'll tell you how each one brought me back to life. The first habit is stopping late night eating, something I carried over from my teaching days. After grading papers until 10 p.m., I'd sit at the kitchen table with a plate of butter cookies or a grilled cheese sandwich. It felt like a reward for a long day. Frank used to tease me, calling me his midnight mouse. But as I got older, past 60, it stopped feeling good. I'd toss and turn all night, my stomach grumbling, and wake up groggy like I hadn't slept at all. I kept thinking, I've got to quit this. One rainy night, I put the cookie tin away. Believe me, it wasn't easy. I almost caved and brewed a cup of peppermint tea instead, the cheap kind from the local store. I sipped it slowly, and that night I slept, a deep, peaceful sleep. The next morning, I woke up without that heavy feeling. Stopping late night eating, swapping it for a cup of tea or just water is the first thing I want you to try. It lets your body rest, clears your mind, and I wish I'd done it back in my 50s, before all those sleepless nights wore me down. Next is walking 15 minutes every day, something I used to love, but let slip as I aged. When I was younger, I'd walk along the beach after teaching, letting the waves splash my feet and the wind tangle my hair. But after Frank passed, I told myself, I'm too old for that now. I stayed inside, letting the rain trap me. Then, that rainy day by the window, I saw an older neighbor trudging along with a cane, raincoat flapping, and I thought, if he can do it, why can't I? I pulled on Frank's old green raincoat, too big at the shoulders, and stepped outside. I walked just 15 minutes down a quiet road lined with pine trees, feeling the rain on my face. I went slow, but my heart beat a little stronger. The next day, I did it again and ran into Clara, an old friend from school. She said, Helen, I walk every day, join me. Now we walk together, rain or shine, just 15 minutes. Walking 15 minutes every day, not fast, not far, eased my knees, lifted my spirits, and I wish I hadn't waited until 73 to start. I want you to try it too. 15 minutes a day can bring you back to yourself. Then there's eating wholesome food, a big change I regret not making sooner. Frank and I love driving to the local diner, ordering burgers and fries, and eating in the car while the rain drummed on the roof. Those were our date nights, and I cherished every bite. But as I got older, my body couldn't keep up. I'd feel tired after meals, my legs heavy, and my doctor warned me about cholesterol. I thought about my mom's vegetable soups from years ago, and I wondered, why not try that? I started buying kale, carrots, some salmon from the fish market down the road. My first attempt was a mess. The soup was bland, but I ate it anyway. Over time, I figured out garlic, herbs, and I found I loved it more than burgers. Eating wholesome food, real stuff like veggies, fish, nuts, instead of fast food made me feel lighter, stronger. I wish I'd switched in my 50s. Maybe I wouldn't need those pills, and maybe Frank would have stuck around longer if we'd done it together. Try this, folks. Eat wholesome food, nothing fancy, just real. It'll take care of you from the inside out. After Frank was gone, I shut the world out. And that's my biggest regret. I didn't want to see anyone, didn't want to hear, "Helen, are you okay?" I stayed home, flipping through old books or watching TV without really watching. But one day I heard laughter from the community center. They were holding a card game for seniors. I used to love bridge, so I thought, why not? I put on a sweater, grabbed an umbrella, and went. I was nervous, hovering by the door, but a lady named Rose waved me over. "Come on, Helen, we need a player." I sat down, and for the first time in years, I laughed. Loud, real laughter, even though I lost every hand. Now I go every week, have coffee with Rose and new friends, connecting with friends, playing cards, sharing a cup of coffee, or just talking, brought joy back, made me healthier. I wish I hadn't waited until loneliness swallowed me to step out. I want you to connect with someone, a friend, a group, because it's the sunshine we need in our rainy days. And the last one, something I almost ignored, is getting regular health checkups. I used to think doctors were for serious stuff only. I'd tell myself I was fine, even when I felt dizzy or worn out. But one day I slipped in the kitchen, not a bad fall, but it scared me, not because I feared dying, but because I want to be here for my grandkids. I booked a checkup, and they found I was low on iron, a small thing that had been dragging me down for years, a few pills, some extra greens, and I felt better than I had in ages. Now I go every 6 months, not to worry, but to know I'm okay. Getting regular health checkups every 6 months keeps me going, and I wish I'd started in my 50s when Frank was still here. Maybe we'd have caught his warning signs too. Please get checkups regularly. It's simple, but it can change everything. That's my story, 5 habits. I wish I'd started sooner. Stop eating late at night, walk 15 minutes every day, eat wholesome food, connect with friends, and get regular health checkups. They're not hard. I'm not running marathons or starving myself, but they pulled me out of Oregon's rainy gloom and gave me new sunny days inside. I'm sharing this not to make you dwell on regrets, but to show you we can still change no matter our age. I did it at 76, and I know you can too. Where will you start? A cup of tea tonight instead of cookies, a 15-minute walk tomorrow, rain or not, a veggie meal instead of takeout, a call to an old friend, a doctor's appointment. I'd love to hear your stories. Tell me, because we're all part of Silver Living Hub, where our silver years can still shine. Thanks for listening to me, Helen from Oregon, and I hope to see you again in another story. Wishing you a warm day, rain or shine.